So I'll just be talking about a little bit about the shutter mechanism of the Canon 2S2, as well as some of the sort of Leica IIIf copies. So you kind of know where to look if you see when you wind the shutter, the shutter speed selector actually rotates as you move the shutters, as you wind the knob, and you actually see the shutter speed selector move when the shutter got released. So that way, I think they're trying to overcome the fact that some of the cameras got broken because you select the shutter speed before you wind the knob, or so I think that kind of resolves one of the obstacles or one of the issues that people was having at the time. So I'm by no means an expert on this, but I just managed to service the shutter. Seems to be working fine, and I used the shutter tester. It's been, pretty accurate within the acceptable range of ANSI, the ANSI standard. So basically these are spring-loaded as shutters. So when you wind the knob to a series of gears, especially you can. Oops, let me get this here. So when you wind, you can see the that the pin from the spool, the gears connect, and then it drives the pin, which kind of engage with the pin, another steel pin, metal pin at the bottom plate, and you can see that. And so when I press on the shutter button, the spring of this one, let me, it's correct here. The spring within this kind of I don't know. It's here. You can see it. But then it kind of rolls up, and then it loads up the spring inside of this spool, or this roller here. And then when I push the shutter button down, the gear will get disengaged. One of the gears down here will get disengaged, and then it rolls, got disengaged, and then you can see the drum will actually release and hit this pawl here. So this basically is the it's from the opening shutter curtain. So the opening, it just opens. I guess when you loaded the spring pressure here, it loads up the pressure within the spring inside this roller, and then the gear disconnect, and then the first curtain operates, and then the pawl here also acts like rolls, goes around, and then it hits this pawl here, which basically activates the second shutter curtain, which so the opening, or my bad, I got mixed up. So the first shutter curtain moves across the screen, and then the pawl rotates, and then hit this, the guiding cam or whatever. Again, this part here, this nose, rotates around and hit this pawl, and so upon hitting this pawl, the second curtain moves across, and so that's how you get an exposure, kind of. So yeah, I'm just gonna demonstrate again. Yeah, so you can see how they correlate together. So towards the bottom here, you basically you got like a kind of like a break, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure actually, but it seems to break when you roll the opening curtain. When you roll the opening curtain, it kind of breaks, which I'm actually not an expert on that. So this is the sync contact or something of the like. Not absolutely totally 100% sure. I just know that when you push the let's see, just focus on this part right here. So when you push the shutter release button, you can see how, wait, you can see how when I release it, you see that? You see the contact between the two metal plates? So that kind of activates the sync terminal, or close the bridge between the two terminals, and basically that activates the flash, I presume. So, okay. Let's go back. Okay. So the problem with this camera, it was when it arrived to me, it was in a pretty much horrible state. So what was happening is that the previous owner, or they tried to repair the shutter, and they put a lot of liquid rubber, and then it just spills out all over everywhere and create this kind of massive streaks, and on the roller and on the drums, and it just pretty much a mess everywhere. But that's not the horrible part. The horrible part is that I think when probably that was a pretty long time ago. So, and then heat during storage or something, because this is directly from Japan. So heat, it kind of melts the rubber that he put between these two the shutter curtain cloth, and it melts, and it kind of just stick the entire metal latch here, I mean the two metal guides together. So yeah, that was pretty horrible. But so I use acetone. Surprisingly, it said that acetone damages the silk fiber or whatsoever, but I just use a cotton swab here, and then just dip some acetone in, and then just clean up everything. You have to remove the two light shields, and then actually there's another light shield here. You don't need to remove it. I did remove the slow shutter speed and escapement. So basically you just remove them, and then kind of clean up everything. I'm not really, because I'm not showing my work in progress, because I didn't even know it was successful or not. So I'm just trying to explaining, as just a record for myself also. If I need in some time in the future to go back to this kind of reference guide. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's see if there's anything more interesting. Oh, and the other thing is that this, if you want to disassemble this is actually pretty easy to disassemble, I think, yes, compared to the contacts 3A or contacts 3B, but still takes a while to get used to. Make sure you get your spanner and yeah, I think some screwdrivers, I think, and should work great. And by the way, it's just going back to what was I? So yeah, the condition of the camera when I first received it. So basically, yeah, it was pretty horrible. So what I decided, I tried different ways to sort of get rid of all the gunk, especially pay attention, especially to the gear drive. Here, I'm gonna try to increase the brightness here. Oops, too much. But I don't think you can see it here. Oh, okay. Here you go. Yeah, there we go. So that gear drive, it connects to two more gears. Actually, this one, and there's another one here. I think it's better to see from this angle here. Basically, it's this three gears interconnected. This is the first gear. There's a intermediary gear in the middle, and then connects to the roller here. So these are the three, probably quite important, because if you have to clean up all the grease and gunk that is catch between them, or else your opening shutter curtain will require serious tension work, which is definitely not good in long term for the springs or the camera. But I'll get to the shutter tension in a second. But so what I did is that I first use some lighter fluid. I think pretty much get them anywhere, and then just pour a generous amount of them on the gears and on also the rollers at the top over here, and just a few drops, and on this gear also, and the winding mechanism, just in case, and also on the pawl, and basically just pretty much every part that kind of moves. Shutter driving parts. And then I dip it into a ultrasonic cleaner. Of course, the bottom plate also put some lighter fluid on places that you see are greasy or suspicious. I mean, I'm an amateur on this, but yeah, I'm just happy it works. I dunk into the bottom part, to just the bottom part only, just below the ribbon here, in boiling, sort of like not boiling, but like pretty hot water, and then just ran it through some cycles. And so what's happening is that the lighter fluid will actually dissolve some of the grease, and it kind of floats up onto the surface of the ultrasonic cleaner, and all the grease will float up. Then you actually see them, because it's quite you see some pretty dark stuff using that machine. But the camera's dirty, and I'm very happy to get rid of all of them. So and then if you're not a risk taker, I think you can definitely leave it as it is, and just let the shutter run dry. I mean, actually, but since I want to test out something, so I use some dry molybdenum lubricant. Got this for $15 from Granger.ca. I live in Canada, so yeah. So that's and then I just spray them in onto the gears. Make sure you use something to use. So I basically use this paper towel and then block off some of the parts that I don't want the dry moly to be on, and then I just spray them. So this is basically just some dry molybdenum, so which has been, you know, it's I guess the standard for camera or shutter mechanism lubricant. I don't use anything else, 'cause, you know, I just don't know what kind of oil or stuff. I just kind of trust my gut on the dry moly, and it seems to work fine for now. Okay, who knows? Maybe I'm completely wrong. This, and also one more thing to keep in mind is that check the shape of this spring here, because if it's too tight, if the force of the spring is too tight, I mean this spring here, then on 1 and a 30th of a second, the shutter will not kind of the pawl will have much harder time, you know, just pushing this out of the way to activate the second curtain, which means that the 1 and a 30th shutter speed will be more like a bulb, where the pawl cannot, you know, exert enough force to lift the pawl. The nose cannot exert enough force to lift the paw out of place to activate the second current, so it will just be like bulb. So that's something to keep your mind on. And actually that's kind of the blueprint, or no, that's the kind of the way that you should kind of tension your shutter curtain. So although this is like a copy, but I just find that the tensioning is a little bit different. It's maybe I'm completely wrong or off or something, but yeah, but it's very different. So I mean, not completely different, but basically the opening curtain shutter tension needs a lot of tension. I'm on round 8 already, and it's working fine, but you know, might have to ramp them up because the springs are a bit smaller. From the technical drawings from the Leica IIIf, the springs in here are a bit smaller and probably need a little bit more tensioning. But however, the second curtain actually needs fewer rounds of tension, so it's just need around 1.5 rounds of tension. So you see it's pretty loose here, and you know, you see that this actually pretty requires a lot of tension. Yeah, I think that's all. Oh yeah, one more important thing. The thing about the Leica, no, my bad. The getting ahead of myself. The Canon 3F, or no, never mind. The Canon 2S2 is that it has the exact shutter mechanism as the 2VSB. So I mean, all they did is that, I mean, this is a purely marketing decision. I mean, as you have read on Camera Wiki or whatsoever, this is just purely ridiculous. It's just the exact same camera. I don't think there's absolutely no difference. The only difference is that you can not select the 1 in 1,000th shutter speed, which because they didn't drill a hole in here for the 1 in 1,000th shutter speed. So and even the paw itself is the same. You can see here. So basically the lower I don't know, the lower, what do they call it? I don't know, high speed, I don't know, but it just, this lower and higher knob controls two different things. The higher knob here is for 1 in 1,000 shutter speed only, and they still have it in the Canon 2S2, even though its top shutter speed is only 1 by 500th. So basically it's pretty much the same camera. So what's happening is that from 1 to 500th, the nose here will hit the bottom knob, or the bottom kind of round, the bottom knob, or and activate the shutter. So, and then on 1 in 1,000th, what I have done is actually I drill a hole here. You can see I drill a hole here in order to accommodate the 1 in 1,000th shutter selector. So you can buy anything, but I would recommend some carbide. Oops, let me see. Try again. I would recommend some micro or carbide, or you know, just some carbide bits. You see I've broken 2 of these, so you know they're easy to kind of break, but you know, I got it towards the end and just use a handy dandy DeWalt. So just try to keep it straight. The metal is very soft, so you don't need that much force. Just keep it straight and just drill it down. I use one. You don't need the 1 millimeter. Just use the 0.8. Just need the 0.8 and 0.6. And watch out! Don't drill the hole too far away. Okay, I'm just gonna show it. Don't drill the hole. Okay. Oops. Okay. Don't drill the hole too far away from the 1 in 500th. You can see here how close they are together. Actually, much closer together than on the Leica IIIf. I think Canon is trying to, you know, trying to minimize and make things economical and compact here, but they're not. They are. I made a mistake by drilling it a little bit too far away onto this side, so the shutter caps and it never really shows up. But you know, but you can drill it. So I have to make amendments, drill a smaller second kind of a second time next to it, but much closer to 1 in 500th. You'll be better served to sort of drill it almost right next to the 1 in 500th hole. So yeah, that's all. And then also once I free up the shutter, you know, I use some fabric paint. I use Deco Art So Soft or something you can find on Amazon, and just use a cotton swab to cotton swab, and just, you know, not this fuzzy, I'm just giving examples, and then just start with small mapper and then just drag it across the curtain. The fabric is very, very good. The fabric remains very flexible and soft, and you know, it's very good so far. I have absolutely no complaint about it, and it looks quite, you know, it looks to be in a rather good state, so I will have no problem using it. yeah. Now that's that. I will, however, retest the current tension down here using the electronic, some light sensor and some, test how accurate it is. They should be remain, pretty accurate. Yeah. So, oh, and I guess that's all. Canon, I quite like the camera. I really enjoy, using a CLA on it, doing a CLA on it. I don't think I have much anything to say. I try to get rid of all the dirt as much as possible. Although, it's not perfect, but I also dunk the top part in the ultrasonic cleaner. Hopefully get rid of some of the bad stuff. So yeah, that's all. I'll just reassemble it, and I'll probably do another video after I successfully, did the curtain, the shutter speed testing. I did some preliminary rounds, pretty accurate, so that's all for me, I think repairing old cameras is really, it's pretty much obsession of mine, early obsession. I've not repaired much, but, I really enjoy the process, and yeah, so I really enjoy the process, and hopefully some people will find this video helpful to some extent, because I try search high and low for some kind of repair guide on IVSB, but or even IIS2 or some Canon copies, but Canon Leica copies, but there were not a lot of them. There's a quite good one by Newbie Sparrow, I think an old Japanese guy on it. So, but that's all for me. Hopefully you guys, or I don't know, people find it helpful. And if you have any questions at all, which I highly doubt there'll be many people watching the video, but if anyone at all has any questions, feel free to ask, and cameras are, and I'll try even to answer to the best of my knowledge, having serviced this camera. Thank you very much.